Dillon Gabriel is going to be QB2 this week because Shedeur Sanders is going to be QB1. And Gabriel got plenty of runway this season, had about 2 months essentially of starts. What they wanted to do by the end of the season is evaluate themselves thoroughly at the quarterback position and know what they have. And Shedeur Sanders earned another start. At least. The plan has always been to play him, right? That has always been what, from owner Jimmy Haslam all the way on down to Kevin Stefanski, who has been invested in Shedeur Sanders. They wanted to know what they have at quarterback, and considering the plays that he made, putting his team in position to win and actually winning, he has earned at least one more start, and I would not be surprised if he earns even more, Colleen.
An NFL insider finally said what everyone was whispering, but too scared to admit. Jimmy Haslam didn't ask Kevin Stefanski to start Shedeur Sanders. He straight up ordered it.
How realistic is it to say they give actual consideration to starting Shadur?
I think it is unrealistic. If you look at the Browns' schedule, it's home against Joe Burrow, on the road against Lamar Jackson, home against Jordan Love, on the road against Jared Goff, then home game in London against the Vikings, then no bye, and you come home on the road against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. That's a gauntlet. There's no way you're playing a rookie quarterback right out of the gate. It's just not going to happen.
Dillon Gabriel also, he returned to practice yesterday. Comparing can be difficult because everybody's out there. Some are against the 2, some against the 3. But Dillon Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders, what did you see?
It's a hard comparison to make because of what you just laid out. Dillon Gabriel is getting far more opportunities, at least through the first couple of weeks, than Shedeur Sanders. And Dillon Gabriel, much like Shedeur, has had good days and bad. He's had more opportunities with 1s and 2s to have good days. I was not at practice yesterday. I will be there for the joint practice tomorrow in Philly. From everything I heard, Dillon Gabriel had a really good day yesterday, but Shadur did as well.
Ian Rappaport went on air and dropped the whole behind-the-scenes story. And trust me, it's way messier than anyone thought. Rappaport said the plan from day one was to play Shadur, straight from Haslam down the ladder. But if that was the plan, why wasn't Shadur getting those first-team reps? Why did it take Gabriel's concussion and what insiders are calling heavy pressure from upstairs just to get this late-round steal on the field? The truth is simple. Stefanski never wanted to make this move. The owner pushed it through, and now that Shadur just won his debut and became the first Browns rookie QB since 1995 to do it, the whole power setup in Cleveland is about to crack wide open. Listen, let me keep it real. What's happening in Cleveland isn't some friendly quarterback battle. This is a power war, an owner who thinks he spotted the future, and a coach who refuses to admit he backed the wrong guy. And the wild part, the entire football world just watched this drama explode live. Now let me walk you back to where this chaos really started, because the context hits hard. The Browns grabbed Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round at 144th overall, and right away, something felt off.
If he's going to be a franchise quarterback yet, it's only been 1 game. But here's what he did prove. He was no 5th-round draft pick. Aaron, what hurt Shedeur Sanders in the draft, don't misconstrue what happened. The draft was, his slide in the draft was about off the field. Not on the field.
1,000%.
Mel Kiper grades people based on what they do on the field. That's why he thought he was the best quarterback in the draft. By the way, Cam Ward doesn't look like all that.
This was a dude most scouts graded as a late 1st rounder. Mel Kiper Jr. even said he was the best quarterback in the whole class. But somehow he slipped to round 5. Cleveland should have been celebrating like they struck gold, right? Instead, they treated him like a backup nobody. Instead of building him up, instead of giving him snaps, Kevin Stefanski parked him behind Dillon Gabriel and acted like that made sense. And here's where things get wild. While Stefanski kept hyping Gabriel in public, Jimmy Haslam was dropping a whole different message behind the curtain. Daniel Fusi from ESPN reported that while Stefanski kept dodging questions about when Shadur would touch the field, Haslam went on record saying it was crucial to evaluate both rookie quarterbacks before the 2026 draft. Think about that for a second. The owner was publicly clashing with his own coach's plan, and that kind of move screams trouble. The comeback even said Haslam went right over his coach's head to push Shadur into the lineup.
If you'd have told me, so you picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shadur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shadur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
Heavy.com took it further, calling it a straight-up mandate from the owner. Not a suggestion, not a friendly nudge, a flat-out order. Once that came down, Stefanski couldn't do a thing except roll with it. And here's why the pressure blew up. Dillon Gabriel's play made it impossible for Stefanski to keep protecting him. Gabriel started 6 games and went 1-5, and his PFF grade was a brutal 49.0, ranking him 39th out of 39 qualified quarterbacks. Dead last, no debate, no excuses. Gabriel was averaging just 117 passing yards a game, and he only completed 2 of his 8 deep shots over 20 yards. 2. The offense looked painful, like a weekly punishment for Browns fans who've already been through enough. But Stefanski kept sending him out there, kept handing him first-team reps, kept pretending Gabriel was the guy when everybody watching knew he wasn't. That's when the whispers started turning into full-blown shouting. Cleveland radio hosts were snapping on Stefanski, and Tony Rizzo said on ESPN Cleveland, "How can this kid that was rated as a late first-round draft pick not get on a field for a team? That sucks. They're not even giving him reps that's on the coach." Man, that line hit the city like a punch. Then his co-host Aaron Goldhammer pushed it even harder. He said, "I guess that Coach Stefanski would rather get fired than play Shedeur Sanders, because I think that's where we're at."
Jimmy Haslam, there's a lot of speculation. He wanted Shedeur Sanders. The staff drafted Dillon Gabriel, and they were doing that not because they necessarily loved Dillon Gabriel. They liked him, but they thought it would stop their impulsive owner from forcing them to draft in round 4 Shedeur Sanders.
Jimmy Haslam and Shadur finna have their wrist up. Shedeur Sanders is guaranteed to start week 1 for the Browns. Now, I'm not saying that. This is what Fieldalytics is saying. Now, this is a /AI account that,
That's wild. The local voices who cover this team every single day openly wondering if the head coach would rather lose his job than admit he chose the wrong quarterback. And then everything flipped in one moment. November 16th against Baltimore, Dillon Gabriel takes a hit and gets pulled into concussion protocol. And just like that, the whole season's energy changed. Suddenly, Stefanski had no escape route. Shedeur Sanders got thrown into the game, and yeah, the numbers were rough. 4 completions on 16 attempts, 47 yards, 1 pick, not cute at all. But that moment forced Cleveland's hand and cracked the door wide open for Jimmy Haslam to finally push the move he'd been waiting on for months. Stefanski then announced Shadur would start in Week 12 against the Raiders, and for the first time since draft day, the kid finally touched real first-team reps. Let that sink in. They kept a possible franchise quarterback sitting on ice for months, not even letting him run with the starters. That's not development. That's straight up blocking his growth, or at best, a coaching staff that never wanted him to shine. Then things got even crazier. Dillon Gabriel cleared concussion protocol before the Raiders matchup. He was good to go, but Stefanski still rolled with Shadur as the starter. And when reporters pressed him, he dropped the safe line. The #1 jaw of a quarterback is to win. So excited to get that first win under his belt. Come on, we all know that wasn't his real reason. That call came from the top. And then Shadur stepped out and shut every doubter up. He became the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his debut since 1995. Almost 3 decades of misses. And this kid nails it in 1 shot. And he did it against the one team everyone swore would draft him, the Raiders. The same squad linked to him for months. The same team that passed on him over and over. Then came the throw that lit the league up. That shot to Isaiah Bond was insane. 52 yards in the air, perfectly dropped in. The longest Browns completion of the entire 2025 season.
Some of the passes sailed on him. You get the second week of hearing his cadence as a lineman. You get the second week of seeing his passes come at you as a receiver. You're building continuity. And before everybody starts going to he should have started week 1. He could be our franchise. How about we make a deal? And I know for a lot of you younger people, this is hard because you're all about the next thing. How about this? How about we just take this thing week to week?
Myles Garrett said it best after the game. There's not many guys in the league that can make that throw. And Garrett doesn't hype people for fun. That throw was straight fire. When your star defensive end is hyped over your rookie quarterback's arm talent, you know something big just went down. But let's look at what Shadur said before and after the game, because this is where you see the mindset that separates regular players from the ones built for greatness. Before kickoff, a sideline reporter asked him what he wanted to show Browns fans. Most rookies would have played it safe, given some boring, polished line. Not Shadur. He looked right into the camera and said, "I'm who they've been looking for." Then he walked off like it was nothing. That's not ego. That's confidence with receipts. And after the game, he spoke to the people waiting for him to stumble. He said, "A lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't gonna happen." And he proved every word. First career start, first career win, a performance that hit the history books, and now he's officially the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Moving forward, Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter both confirmed it. Shedeur Sanders is quarterback 1 for Week 13 and beyond. Gabriel is healthy, cleared, and available, but it doesn't matter.
Let's look at their schedule here moving forward. And I want to blow this all the way up for y'all because I want y'all to see this. So we know Shedeur Sanders is starting this 49ers game in Cleveland. I believe this is a very winnable game. The 49ers really isn't a blitzing defense. This is another game that I think we need to pay attention to because this is Shadur facing Cam Ward. It's tension there.
Shedur's the guy now, because once you give the city what it's been begging for, once the kid steps in and actually delivers, you can't shove that magic back in the bottle. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room, because some people are already saying it's just one game, or the Raiders' defense is weak, or don't overreact. And yeah, sure, it's one start, but the context hits different. Shadur didn't just win. He became the first Browns rookie quarterback in 3 decades to take his debut and walk out with a victory. He uncorked the longest pass of their season. He brought actual juice to a team that was flat for 11 straight weeks. He made plays Dillon Gabriel never came close to making in 6 full starts. That alone says plenty. And here's the part that should make the rest of the league nervous. This is just the warm-up. Shadur had 1 week of first-team reps before that game. 1 week to sync with receivers. 1 week to run the game plan with actual starters. 1 week to prep, and he still looked sharper than the guy who'd been getting every rep since camp. Imagine what happens once he gets real time, real chemistry, and real trust with the ones. The upcoming schedule isn't bad either. Niners this week, then Miami, both winnable. Then a revenge shot at the Bengals, and another against the Bears with Caleb Williams. The same Caleb Williams that Shadur went pound for pound with in college. If Shadur goes 4-2 or even 3-3 down the stretch, the 2026 quarterback conversation is dead on arrival. The job is his, no debate. But here's the part that really blows my mind, the behind-the-scenes dysfunction. Because despite all the interviews, all the "we're on the same page" talk, we know better. The insiders already spilled plenty. A sports report said the draft room barely clapped when Shedur's name got announced. Perfunctory applause, which basically means no one was excited. That screams hesitation. N.F.L. insider Benjamin Albright even said there was a clear split in the room. Some of the staff wanted different quarterbacks, different directions. But once ownership steps in, the path is chosen, and everybody else has to fall in line. That tells you everything. The coaching staff wanted someone else, but the top floor had other plans. Ownership wanted Shadur, and when the pressure hit, ownership won. Jimmy Haslam tried to play it cool, saying, "At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call." Andrew made the call to pick Shadow, but Sports Illustrated pointed out that Haslam made it crystal clear. GM Andrew Berry was the one pushing for Sanders, not Stefanski. That means the head coach got overruled in his own house, and that kind of move always brews tension. When a coach doesn't get the quarterback he wanted, resentment creeps in. That's why Shedur's rise is even more impressive. He succeeded despite the environment, not because of it. He wasn't getting first-team reps, he wasn't being groomed, and he wasn't given the same support other rookies get. Yet he still stepped in and delivered. He won even though the staff reportedly didn't want him. He won even with people saying he slid to the 5th round because of off-field noise, when everyone knows his on-field skill is first-round material. ESPN Cleveland summed it up perfectly. His draft slide was about off the field, not his tape. And Mel Kiper ranked him high because he judges what happens on the field. And he wasn't wrong. Week 12 just proved that in full HD. So here we are. Jimmy Haslam forced Kevin Stefanski's hand, and honestly, it might have saved the Browns' future. Shedeur Sanders stepped in, won his first career start, made history, and finally gave Cleveland something they haven't had since coming back to the league, and something, a real shot at stability. 42 different starting quarterbacks tried and failed, and now the city might finally have its guy. Yeah, the tension between ownership and coaching is still brewing, and the dysfunction in that building is real. But you know what else is real? Shedeur Sanders' arm talent, his swagger, his ability to show up in the moment and flip a whole franchise vibe in one afternoon. And if Haslam hadn't pushed for this kid to get a chance, the world might never have seen what he can do. Now the question isn't whether Shadur can play. He answered that loud on Sunday. The real question is whether the Browns can stop tripping over their own drama long enough to let him grow into the franchise quarterback they've been praying for. Because if politics, ego, and front office chaos ruin this kid's path, Browns fans will never forgive the organization. If you made it this far, smash that like button and subscribe, because we're covering every step of Shedur's journey this season. Drop a comment below. Do you think Jimmy Haslam was right to force Stefanski's hand? Or should coaches always control roster decisions? Let's debate it.